Hey, can you guys see what I just said in chat? Make sure I don't need to like reload it or anything. Okay, cool. Is the game made now? What do I need to do? Okay, so we'll get started as soon as the game is made. The first match, it looks like a ZVZ on Metalopolis, so could be good. ZVZ is super stressful, in my opinion. I hate it. Alright, while you guys wait, if you want, you can... You guys can check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/shaitan. I started doing some of the replays from Providence. I think right now I have like Heypro ST, TLO Spanishiwa, Lenok Oz, just going through and getting some of the main games that happened earlier on in the tournament. And then feel free to like let me know if you guys have complaints, criticisms, suggestions. In terms of the casts on YouTube, what I'm starting to do now is every Tuesday, Thursday at 6-ish Pacific time, I'm going to cast for like an hour or two, whatever people really want. So starting off with MLG Providence, and then hopefully DreamHack releases replays soon. Excuse me. And just really whatever replays I can get my hands on. I'm catching a cold, lovely. You guys aren't on break yet, right? Break's not for another couple weeks. Okay, so I think we're gonna do Major Tom Rumpler first, because Duarda isn't responding. Is what I'm hearing. So it looks like PVT. Oh, I need to update some. Never mind, Duarda's back. Okay, so we'll get started in a minute. Why can I hear myself? My stream is open. So game number 1 between the Cube Man from Woods Cross High School and Duarda from Cactus Shadows High School. It's going to be a ZVZ on MLG Metalopolis, and ZVZ really is, I think, one of the least well-developed matchups. There's just so much variability in it right now that there's really a plethora of options that are available to the players. You can see things like early Baneling Ling all-ins. You can see just a bunch of different types of all-ins. Roaches are really probably the most standard thing, roaches and infestors, but you're beginning to see a lot more of a shift toward the mutalisks just because of the fact that the infestors cannot hold them for as long as they used to. So that's really the newest shift in the metagame for ZVZ. But we'll see what these two players decide to do, whether they decide to go with the new or the old. Just as a bit of background behind the players, we have the Cube Man, looks like he is Platinum, and Duarda is in Diamond. So really, the difference between those two leagues isn't really all that large. Some of the games I was casting earlier were like between a Grandmasters and a Platinum player, so you know there's going to be a bit of a disparity in those sort of games. But really here, Platinum versus Diamond and a ZVZ, anything could happen here. It could really be anyone's game. So the countdown has started, and we'll be getting started with game number 1 right away. And the loading bars are happening. I am Shaitan, bringing you coverage from the High School StarCraft League, week number 1, between the Purple Zerg Duarda from Cactus Shadows High School and the Blue Zerg, the Cube Man from Woods Cross High School. Now, these two players are playing on MLG Metalopolis, so close positions are disabled, and in fact, you can see that they've spawned close by air, so this should lend itself toward a much larger macro game, because the two players can get their overlords in position over their opponent's hatchery in time to spot if any sort of early pool shenanigans are coming, and because of that, you can always play safely while at the still same still at the same time being ahead economically. So if Dwarda were to drop a 13 pool, CubeMan could make 1 or 2 extra drones, go up to 15 drones, and then make a 15 pool and still be safe and slightly ahead of his opponent. So generally what you see in these positions is both players go for the hatchery first. Hopefully they don't decide to prove me wrong. And you can actually end up in some awkward situations where, because you can leave your Overlord here until the Queen comes out, you can see players going up to 17 drones before making the hatchery, then continuing to make drones going up to 22, 23 drones before they drop their pools, and you get in this weird sort of stalemate situation. You could even see double expansions, but it doesn't look like CubeMan wants to do that. CubeMan wants to prove me wrong, and he is actually going for the quick extractor. We see the spawning pool following it up, and it looks like CubeMan is actually going for a earlier earlier gas then pool than normal. Normally you see 14, but we see that CubeMan actually looked like he went 13 gas, 12 pool. So it's one of the faster ones. There is a type of Zergling Baneling all-in that you can do in this situation, and you just basically rush to Banelings as quickly as possible. And against a hatch first build, which is what we see coming out from Dwarda, it could be very effective, especially because Dwarda has made a drone, then made his gas, then made another drone, before finally making a spawning pool. So his spawning pool is going to be very, very delayed, about 50 seconds behind his opponents, and so the CubeMan could do a lot of damage, and we can see that he's now mining gas a little bit slower. He's pulled off. He still has only 1 on gas right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe 1 more go on there so that he can get the Baneling nest a little bit faster. But we'll see what he decides to do. He does need to put on some sort of aggression, though, because right now, if he doesn't do anything, his opponent will be able to just outproduce him and have a much stronger economy. The other thing, too, is that he's going to need to get this Baneling nest, and we can see that he is putting guys back on gas full time. He does need to get the Baneling nest, because otherwise just 2 base mass speedlings is something that can be effective. You can overrun your opponent simply by just having that much more larva than what your opponent has.